Hello and welcome to a very, very special Game Saves from the Strong. My name is Andrew Borman and I am the Digital Games Curator here at the Strong National Museum of Play in Rochester, New York. Now, in the previous streams, we've checked out some unreleased games which really hadn't been seen before. But today's stream, we're going to take a look at something that is out, and it's something that you all could be playing right now as it is, well, at least for the next 12 hours. Today's game is Demon's Souls on the PlayStation 3. It was released way back in February 5th of 2009 in Japan only, and it was initially thought that it would only be released in Japan, except for the fact that they released an Asian version with some English language, and it turns out that people really wanted to play it. So on October 6, 2009, the game was released in the USA. Now, it's a bit of a spiritual successor to the Kingsfield games back on the PlayStation 1, or rather, they started on the PlayStation 1, I should say. I remember playing what was the first game in the US for Kingsfield, except I think it was actually the second game. The first game didn't come out in the US, only the second game did. It's a little bit like that whole Final Fantasy situation where the numbers don't always line up how you'd expect them to line up. So today, there's not going to be really any archival material to go with any of Demon's Souls. We don't have a bunch of documents from Software who designed the game. Sony hasn't sent us anything. But the fact is that the servers, the online servers, will be going offline in less than 12 hours now if I've done my time conversions properly. I believe at 3 a.m. Eastern Time in the United States, the servers will go offline. Now, unlike some massively multiplayer games, you will still be able to play Demon's Souls. Except, as you'll see, you'll be missing a lot of features and really a lot of the things that helped make Demon's Souls so great, along with its spin-offs, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, which there's going to be a remaster on the Switch, which I'm looking forward to, and, of course, Bloodborne on the PS4. So, rather than waste too much time, I want to get straight into the game because I want to get as much footage as possible because this is our archival material. We will be creating archival material that hopefully will be referenced in the future. We're going to start right at the beginning of the game, and you should be warned that I am not too good at the game. But I did practice a little bit yesterday, so we're just going to go for it. Now, while this loads up, I should point out that there is actually a copy of the game hidden in the museum. It's below a few games in our eGames Revolution exhibit, and it is below, I believe, Resident Evil. This is a picture that I took this morning as I came in. Right underneath Resident Evil 5, there's a copy of Demon's Souls, kind of an Easter egg in one of our exhibits. Let's get back to the game, though. Going to go through the whole checking process. Doesn't quite have the instantaneous load times of the Game Boy Color game from a week and a half ago. So while I am recording the stream itself, of course, so you can watch it later, but I'm also recording straight gameplay footage. There is a possibility of a few frame hiccups because I have multiple encoding things going on at the same time, but we will have raw footage available. Because once this goes offline, there will be no documentation other than what people have made in the past. And while it's nice to be able to point to YouTube, there's always concerns about copyright and what we're allowed to do with things that are on YouTube. So it's important for us at the museum to have some reference footage of online play from this game. So I'm not going to focus on the cutscene too much because it will still be available. I'm just going to try to skip past it. And of course, we are playing on a real PS3. The PS3 emulator that is out apparently plays the game quite well, but I think it's always important to record using real gameplay or real hardware, at least whenever possible. And here we go. This is our conclusion of online services for Demon's Souls. It will conclude on February 28th, 2018, and that is tomorrow, but like I said, I believe it's at about 3 a.m., so I wasn't planning on coming in. We're going to try to go quickly through this. Chegg. Because we are in the Center for the History of Electronic Games. We'll just do a night. The appearance is fine. We'll just go with it. Let's get into the game. Hopefully you guys can hear the audio. It's a little low on my end. I'll boost it a little bit.
King Alant the 12th, by channeling the power of souls, brought unprecedented prosperity to his northern kingdom.
Like I said, we're going to skip past the cutscenes a little bit. There is a bit of a tutorial section, so we're going to try to run through it relatively quickly. We'll see how that goes. It may not go well. So one of the first things we'll point out is messages like this, and my frame rate is skipping a little bit, but it looks to be holding okay. Now, of course, that one's just from the game itself. But those sorts of messages, as we get into the game proper, will be quite important to see, because those will not be available anymore, unfortunately. I'm just taking a look at our frame rate. It's weird, the OBS window seems to be okay, and yet we're lagging just a little bit on my gameplay window. But that's okay. It may make the game even more difficult than it was. Just super hard mode instead of regular hard mode that the game always is. Now that is some healing items again. We're going to try not to use too much of it early on. I'm going to make my one window bigger. There we go. Yes, we're still reading kind of the canned messages. They kind of get you in the mood, or I guess get you ready for some of the messages that we'll see as we go into the game. We're still working our way through the tutorial. We have plenty of time to hopefully run into a few players. And we'll talk about some of the features that are going to go offline. Now, if you're watching and you happen to have specific memories of this game, I would love to hear them. As I was saying, the actual gameplay, or the actual game itself, is... Oh, that body is glitching out a little bit. Is relatively easy to preserve. We have two versions of the game, both a digital version and a physical version. So most likely, unless something in manufacturing has gone wrong, we are going to be able to play Demon Souls of some kind in the future. Same with hardware. PS3 hardware seems to be holding up okay, and we already have an emulator that can play PS3 games, so you're going to be able to play Demon Souls. But that is only a tiny, tiny, tiny part of what this game is. Excuse me as I try not to get killed on one of these early enemies. We'll do what it says. Now, more and more often, game servers are being shut down. Unfortunately, if nobody is playing, it doesn't make sense for them to keep servers open. Now, what's a bit interesting about Demon Souls having been released back in 2009 is that originally the servers were going to shut down in October 2011. So 2 years after the game came out, we were almost without this game. Then they decided, oh, people are still playing it. They still want to play. So we are going to extend the servers until May 2012, which is still almost 6 years ago, which is crazy to think about because I remember when this game came out, right before Uncharted 2. So May 2012 could have been the end of the game, but then they said, wait, people still want to play the game. So they decided, we're going to keep the servers going indefinitely. Unfortunately, indefinitely comes to an end tomorrow. And by the look of things, there will be no extensions. Of course, it's always possible that there will be a shot by an arrow, a PS3 remaster, or PS4 remaster rather, which I think would keep a lot of people quite happy. There's been rumors of it over the years that, oh, maybe we'll get a bigger audience now that Dark Souls is so popular, now that Bloodborne was extremely popular. But so far, neither Sony or From Software has announced anything, so it's really hard to say if that's going to happen. But that would be certainly one way of preserving the game, is by keeping a new version online. But we still do need reference footage for the PS3 version. Oh, I missed. Now, of course, this is not the first game that we have done video capture for. Once I either die or kill this enemy, I will pull up the web page. Let me pause. Oh, there is no real pause. I forgot. Hopefully we're safe. That is that wrong picture. But way back in 2011, the Strong created a video capture project which sought to capture many, really, I think it's thousands of games worth of footage running on original hardware, knowing that someday that this hardware may stop working or the software might be otherwise unavailable. So along with a bunch of interns from RIT, we have hundreds, if not thousands of hours of gameplay footage from tons and tons of games. I've barely begun to scratch the surface of what's there. So this is one thing that the Strong has really done a great job on, is trying to capture this footage while these things are still available. But back to the game. Luckily we haven't been killed. I love how we roll with our heavy armor. Now hopefully, in 2 weeks when we stream again, we will be streaming, well, I won't be streaming alone. Oh, you're supposed to die there. I tried though. If all goes well, we will have a visitor, one of the indie game creators from the Rochester area. I don't want to ruin the surprise too much, but it'll be an interesting conversation about what we as a museum and about what independent developers out there can do to preserve their games as they're working on them, along with, of course, playing some cool stuff. I hope that becomes one of the really defining features of this stream, is hopefully we can get some developers on to talk about their games. So we have died.
Well, you slipped through the fissure too, did you? You came for demon souls?
We're just going to skip by it. So this is where the real main meat of what I want to preserve happens. Now, unfortunately, with PlayStation Network and the servers on top of that, it is very, very unlikely that this content will be preserved in anything but the video footage that, luckily, a lot of people have made. Even in things like massively multiplayer games that are still online, the fact is that these games change on a daily, if not hourly basis, and the experience that you have in the games is really unique to yourself. So as much footage as we can possibly have, whether it's me just playing for an hour, or whether it's the hundreds of hours already on YouTube, a lot of that is unique, and we're not really sure what is going to be important in the future. That's why we have to do it now while the game is still available, and not get too caught up on the fact that in less than 12 hours it will be gone. Hey, if you invade my stream, I would absolutely love that. There would be nothing better than seeing somebody come in and kill me as I'm level 1. Now, you'll have to excuse me again. I am not the Demon Souls expert. I played it when it came out. But yes, the true Demon Souls starts here. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the features as we get into this a little bit, but those messages like that one that I just saw are actually left by other players, in most cases anyway. Not necessarily all of them, as we saw in the tutorial. So those messages can be a warning. Those messages can give you tips, or those messages can lead you astray. And sometimes they're a bit funny. But we also see bloodstains. Now what's cool about this is it's actually another player being killed, or a repeat of another player being killed. That player seems to have gone idle or had some sort of glitch, and they were unfortunately killed. I'm in trouble. Please recommend this message. So yes, we can recommend this message, and now more people, I believe, will see that. I know there's enemies over here. After I kill these guys, I am going to boost the brightness just a tad. Oh no. As my nephew would say, oh no. No, 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 no. That was horrible. Alright, let's boost the brightness just a little bit. It apparently didn't save after I did it yesterday. Don't stop. Don't stop what? Believing? Let's keep on going. So again, these messages are left by other players, and while you'll still be able to experience the game, you won't get things like that, which is really quite sad. Deceptive cuteness. That's referring to the boss, I believe, that's inside that door. I don't know if deceptive cuteness is quite how I describe the boss, but it is what it is. We're going to recommend it for somebody else. So hopefully in the next couple hours, they are surprised. Use fire on the next enemy. I believe that would be going in there too. Oh. Now luckily I was somewhat prepared for him. It doesn't mean we'll actually win, but this bloodstain will probably tell me that whoever was here before me was not quite as ready. So that poor player did not do so well. Beware of the darkness ahead. Oh, trying to block it with my sword. Somebody did not get so lucky. Oh, that's not what I wanted either. So these are some of the features that will be gone. One of the other things that's going to be gone is what they call the world tendency feature. And that really impacts what gameplay is like. Now, playing on your own, you do get the world tendency feature, but it's not the same. Rather than just being impacted by your actions, the game will actually be impacted by the actions of everybody who is playing on the server. Now, you have two polar opposites. You have the polar white, you have the polar black, and of course, everything in between. Or I should say pure white and pure black, not polar white and black. Anyway, when the world tendency is in a pure white phase, the enemies are easier to kill. But unfortunately, they drop less rare, less good. I can't speak today. Less better items. Oh, they did warn me to look right. But you do get a lot more healing items when the world tendency is veering towards the white side. Now, as it goes towards the darkness, the pure black side, things get a lot more difficult. But, as a bonus, you get a lot of more rare, more better items. I forget where I was, where we were talking about more better a lot as a joke. Those fire bombs coming useful up ahead a little bit. Now there is a list of of what would happen with the world tendencies as I hide the wrong image. So these are the type of actions you can do to kind of shift the world tendency towards white or towards black. And unfortunately, it's not going to quite have the same effect that it used to have. Now, one of the people participating in the chat did mention that the stream could be invaded. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to invade the actual stream, but rather the gameplay itself. It turns out that other players can actually kind of port into your gameplay when you're connected online, and quite honestly, do you a lot of harm. They can kill you and end your progress at kind of unsuspecting moments. Will that happen here? I'm not sure, and to be honest, I'm not sure it can happen yet because I am relatively low leveled. But it's a scary prospect when you're running around just trying to survive as it is, and another player comes and tries to kill you. If only I had some friends. Yes, that is the other thing that is going online. In fact, this game does have co-op play. Without servers, there will be no co-op play, so there isn't much more to say to that, other than the fact that there is a boss battle. Oh, there's another player, or the ghost of another player, just running around. That's always cool to see, and you won't see that anymore. Anyway, there is a co-op kind of boss battle that instead of joining with other players, you'll just join with AI characters. Doesn't quite have the same impact. I don't recall if I actually got far enough in the game to experience that, but it's always sad to think that in 2 days, let alone 10, 20 years from now, all we will have is the video footage that we managed to save. I'm trying to use this bloodstain as a bit of a warning. Oh, another ghost. So I'm not the only one who's come through here. Beware. Uh-oh. That ended up going fairly well, all things considered. I'm in trouble. Please recommend this message. Ooh, we'll try not to fall. We're going to try not to get firebombed ourselves. Oh, two. Oh, that did not go well. I almost ended up as one of those bloodstains. Now, if you die, you do unfortunately lose the souls that you've collected from the enemies. But you have one chance, and only one chance, to get back to your body and regain your souls. If you don't get back, those souls disappear, and whatever you had collected in your attempt to get to your body is all that you managed to collect again. Hi. Oh, that was one of those messages that really served as quite the trick. Instead of helping me out, they just distracted me. Easily distracted today. Beware a trap ahead. Ooh. That's that guy that was throwing down on us. Oh, there's our trap. And we got hit by it. I'm going to slip right off the stairs. Nope. So there are a lot of these kind of environmental features throughout the game. And it's things that, things like that where you just would get hit by them otherwise if you don't have those messages. Clearly I did not pay enough attention to the messages, so I still got hit by them. But it's the thought of those nice players that count. I think the first time I played through this, I had died by multiple times by the time I got this far. Whew. Trying to heal. There's that guy shooting arrows at us. So for those of you just joining us, we are playing Demon's Souls because the game's online connectivity shuts down tomorrow. Therefore, those ghosts that we keep seeing will not be there anymore. We'll be in a lonely, lonely world. Which is sad. It's always sad when an online game shuts down, because there's always somebody out there still playing it. At least most of the time. It is funny to see the bodies kind of fly around. Now, yesterday when I came through here, there was a little warning telling me that the enemies through that way are strong. I'm not going to go that way. It does not seem like a good choice right now. We're going to go the easy way. Or what I think is the easy way? I don't really know. In all likelihood, we'll get killed somewhere along the way. You'll find a weapon past here. For some reason, I don't think there's a weapon down there. I'm going to avoid jumping off the ledge right now. And we'll go check out this way. Got some blood, so you know something happened. Oh, there's that enemy. Don't attack. Oh. Thank you, message. I totally would have been lit on fire right there. Let's see how that player fared. Not so well. It's so sad that that's not going to be there. I know I keep saying that, but it's quite entertaining just to see where other players went wrong. Ooh, I am going to be one of those players here in a second. Oh no. Well, they seem to have blown themselves up. So this part's kind of cool. That player coming through just ran through the door because we did not open the door. Ooh, we got a ring. So now we're kind of at the beginning of where we were, except now it's a shortcut so we can get back up where we were a lot more quickly. Especially if you die as often as I seem to die most of the time. We're going to try to equip that ring. Lose less HP, that's always good. Oh, look at all the HP I have now. I'm just lucky that that whole barrel situation didn't blow up on me. Okay. Attack. I don't want to attack. That doesn't seem like a good idea either. Nothing good can happen. Sneaky, sneaky players out there. Who would have known, though, that your message would be in a museum forever? And that's the other sad thing about this, too. Unlike Miiverse, which shut down, which I was quite sad about, more over the concept of it, and more of what it meant for really one of the Wii U's major features. That was more easily preserved because it was web-based and people were able to figure out how to pull down all those Miiverse posts that were made, even ones that were technically private to game developers and everything else. In this case, I don't think that there is a way that, even if the servers get emulated, even if something goes on, I think these messages will be gone. I don't think anybody is actively saving any of these messages. Of course, somebody could go back by hand and try to reinstate things from video, but the likelihood of that happening, unfortunately, is very, very low. Now, there's a lot of messages here. You'll find a ring past here. Take a step forward. What happens if I don't want to? Oh, I remember what happens through here. We're going to try to beat them to the punch here. We're going to use one of our items. Oh, we're still too close. And we didn't do any damage. I know there are a few different players or a few different enemies around here. Pretty soon we'll be running into our friend the dragon. Usually he gets me if nobody else has. Oh, there's another player running into the same sort of enemies that I did. Of course, we can't see the ghost of the enemy, it's just the ghost of the player, and he's gone. Beware trap ahead. Oh boy. Do we go that way? I know there's something behind here. Oh boy, there's a blood stain. He went back the other way though.
Good day to you. Care to look over my wares? Mostly stolen, but who's telling you?
Oh, we can buy some items. We're just going to assume we're going to be okay.
Go ahead, take your time. I'm not...
You can see how long it's been since I played. I didn't remember what was back there. So maybe it's partially my fault the servers are going online. I haven't played it since 2010 or 11. This has bad idea written all over it. Ambush. From there? Oh, there's lots of them. Oh yeah. I'm trying to get my other item out. There we go. I'm going to firebomb myself. Again, for those of you just joining us, this is Demon Souls, the final, I think, 11 hours. Of course, we won't be playing that long. The online servers go offline, I believe, at 3 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, which means we need footage today, or we can't get any of it. I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping it's recording properly. If not, we always have me. Now, if there's any other online games that you've played that are offline, particularly ones like this, where it's not necessarily a massively multiplayer game, which we could go on for hours about potential solutions and the sad, sad tales of how games like Motor City Online are no longer online, but games with a single-player element that still have multiplayer features. If those have gone offline, I would love to hear about them. Because there's been plenty of games, especially sports games. Those are usually the first to go offline, unfortunately. Now, I imagine that somebody probably wouldn't want to play Madden 2013 versus Madden 2018. Do they still do it a year ahead? But there are situations where things like ESPN 2K5, the last Sega Sports, oh, that rock. I forgot about it. Oh boy, I'm dead. I forgot about it. Things like Sega's ESPN Football 2K5, which went offline, which was their last football game. I'm sure people would love to still be able to play that online. Sure, it's a single-player game. Sure, you could still play it. But it's definitely not the same. So that's the other part of Demon Souls, is when you die, you go back and everything's kind of how it was. But we do have that door open, which will be our one saving grace to try to get back up to my stuff. I forgot about the rocks. I was looking for them, too. I probably can skip past some of these. I know I can run somehow. Oh, there we go. Oh boy, this may not have been a good idea. Oh no. This is not going to go the way I hoped. Oh no. Get me out of here. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Oh no. Oh no. There we go. Still alive. May not seem like it, but worked out okay. Now, in all likelihood, too, when I finally get up to those rocks again, I'm going to do the exact same thing as I did that time, and I'm going to die again. Oh, no! I almost ended up like that player we were watching earlier. I'm running as quick as I can. Well, now I am. Oh, I don't... Can I get past that? I was really hoping that somebody would invade my game and show me how it's all done. I think to actually do co-op, you do need an item, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think I'll be able to show that feature off. Oh, he healed. That's not cool. I guess I can heal too, so... Also, if I'm not mistaken, you can't level up until you beat the first level, so I'm kind of out of luck for the time being. We got him. I wonder if that's the same bloodstain from earlier. That one might be different. Nope, not that way. I always forget about locking on. I'm pretty sure you watch some of those speedrun videos, and most people speedrunning this game would probably be almost done with it by now. I don't know what the world record is. If somebody does know, I'd love to hear it, but watching one of those Dark Souls, or... Yeah, I think they did Dark Souls at Awesome Games Done Quick. Even with the difficulty involved, they get the game done a lot quicker. I'm hoping we at least get up to the dragon. We're not going to try to fight the dragon, which is one of those experiences that I think is impacted by the world tendency. Now, what was also cool was that they did different events where they would... Oh, no! They'd flip the world tendency from either pure white to pure black, just so they could have different events, especially if things had been caught at a certain level for a while, or if it was, I think there was one for the holidays. Nope. 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 I almost did it. See? Somebody else healing. Probably a good idea. So here's our body. It's a few steps back from where I died the last time, just to give me a chance to get it. But now we aren't going to be killed. But there's that sleeping dragon I've been talking about. Don't bother with observation. Thanks. That could have been me yesterday. Oh, well, we know we should be expecting some enemies up ahead. All sorts of ghosts. Oh. It's not fair how I get firebombed and they get off. Okay. My computer is starting to work overtime for this whole dual encoding thing. Think hard. I believe this way is the dragon. We're going to go take a peek. What's the worst that can happen? We get killed again. Now the dragon also appears the other way. But this way we can, I believe, look at him. Using... Oh, there's two. Two dragons. Now that we know where the dragons are, we see what the dragons can do. I want no part of that. That guy does, though. He is also contemplating how his life decisions got him to this point. Hopefully he makes the good choice to not go that way. So this footage will be in our archives so that 5, 10, 20 years from now, if somebody is wondering what Demon's Souls was like, they'll be able to see it. See, this is what I'm waiting for. I know not to rush ahead. Rushing ahead, nothing good happens. There he is. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, nope, nope. I have a lot less healing items than I did last time. That dragon did not help me. I'm being too cautious. Oh, there he is. Too cautious again. I know what he does. They're not fooling me. Not to say I won't get hit, but the pure amount of times I died to this part the first time I played, pretty insane. Oh no, there he goes. There he comes. Oh, one of them made it. Oh. Nope, nope, nope. Too close, too close. Alright, I think we'll be okay. Unless I get caught up. Oh no. Oh no. Did I die? Oh boy. So that's the challenging part of this game. Made it past 30 yesterday, but on the stream, no such luck. Now we are way back here. Is there actually treasure ahead, or is that one? Oh, there is. Look at that. So I wish I had a more powerful character to play with. I don't think I had one on PlayStation Network. Hold on. That would auto-upload the save. I don't even remember how to download the save, even if I have one. I'm going to try to do the same thing I could not do the last time. Didn't go well. We didn't have to kill all of them anyway. I do have other weapons, but I tend to not like them. Save ourselves some time. Let's go that other way, since I highly doubt that I'm going to make it where we have to go. Quickly kill this guy, hopefully. Or not so quickly. Or not at all. Once again, we are streaming live from the International Center for the History of Electronic Games Lab at the Strong National Museum of Play in Rochester, New York. If you ever come out this way, there is a hidden copy of this game in our eGames Revolution exhibit. You'll find it buried underneath a copy of Resident Evil 5. Of course, down in the exhibit hall, we have a ton of video games for you to check out. And really some of the highlights are some of the arcade games. Whether you want to play the newer Star Wars Battle Pods game, or even the original Atari Star Wars arcade game, they're down there for just one token to play. You get 5 tokens for $1, which is really exciting. That's one of those unique situations where the artifacts themselves are fully hands-on. You can play with them. There are a few exceptions to that rule, like a absolutely stunning red computer space cabinet. But for the most part, there are usually dozens of arcade games out to play, and those are considered artifacts of the museum. It's pretty exciting. Along with that, you'll find artifacts like notes from game developers, other playable things. Artifacts, of course I said notes from game developers, but artifacts from game developers, including Ralph Baer and many, many more. Let's see. I knew that wouldn't go well. Hello, Just Buy a Souls. How are you today? As you can see, I am very, very bad at this game, but we are essentially creating a form of game preservation and the fact that this footage will live on in our archives for researchers and others to enjoy. One of these days, we'll actually get an arcade game in here to play on the stream. I've been pushing for the arcade version of Dragon's Lair. You want to talk about comparing a game's difficulty to Dark Souls, we should be comparing it to Dragon's Lair instead. Dragon's Lair being the Laserdisc arcade game from the early 1980s, animated by the great Don Bluth. It's known for requiring really pinpoint execution of button presses, because essentially what it's playing is full motion cartoon footage, which didn't really leave a whole lot of room for interactivity, but it is quite the show if you get it running. Now, there are lots of challenges of preserving a game like that, so hopefully I'll be able to share that with you and some of the different ways that we've looked at saving Dragon's Lair. As it turns out that there aren't any Laserdiscs being made anymore. And there haven't been for the past 17 years. One of the last commercial Laserdisc movies that I can think of was The Phantom Menace, Star Wars. Only the Japanese version got a Laserdisc release. Quite an interesting thing. Now, there is a anniversary edition of Dragon's Lair, which was a bit newer than that 1980s press. But you're still talking about a disc that is 18 years old at this point. Of course, Laserdisc players aren't in any better shape. So this was my first Dark Souls style game. Of course, this being kind of it is the first of the Souls games. Of course, I did play I keep going back to King's Quest. That's not the other one. King's Field. Sorry. I remember playing what I later learned was the second game in the series, because USA did not get the first game of the King's Field series. I remember that game being brutally hard as well. Of course, I believe From Software also made the Japanese-only Metal Wolf Chaos for the Xbox, which is a game where you play, I believe, as the USA president, and basically are trying to defeat the baddies using big mechs and other big guns. It's really quite the ridiculous game. If you never played Metal Wolf Chaos, I highly recommend it, but it is one of the harder to find Xbox games. But it does have English voice acting, and it's perfectly playable by English-speaking audiences, or non-English-speaking audiences for that matter. It's not a very text-heavy game. Metal Wolf Chaos on the Xbox. I believe that's From Software. I'm doubting myself now a little bit. That's where I need my Google Home. Hey Google, who made Metal Wolf Chaos? So by the time this stream closes down, there will be just under 10 hours left of the Demon's Souls online servers. Run straight through is what they recommend. Oh boy. Oh no! Run, 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 run. He's following me, isn't he? Yep. Try to lure him out here so we can get around him. There we go. All that for a whole lot of nothing. Oh, we can get our souls back. Oh, it appears to be locked. We can't even go that way. Oh well. Again, the thought that counts. As we're wrapping up, I do recommend that any of you with footage out there of Demon Souls being played online, save that footage. You never know when that is going to be valuable in the future, whether it's for a revival project or just to reminisce. You aren't going to get another chance if you do not have that footage. Please capture that footage, save that footage, put it on Google Drive, share it with some friends, throw it on a backup hard drive and forget about it. Maybe split it between a few thousand floppy disks, whatever it takes to keep that game alive. Oh, that is not a good way to end things. Do save that footage, please. Game preservation is important. It is important that we do everything that we can to save these things. And when there are no other choices, video footage simply does the trick. You will never be able to record another game of online Demon Souls unless it's released on the PS4. This is as good of a spot as any to call it quits on the stream. I know it isn't quite as interesting as an unreleased video game, but that's okay. It's still equally as important in its own way. Hopefully in 2 weeks, not 2 weeks from Wednesday, but 2 weeks from this coming Friday, we will have another stream, likely with a local Rochester developer who made a game called A Small Robot Story, which is available on Steam. Check that out. We'll talk a lot about indie games and what we as an institution with thousands of other commercial games can do to preserve the games that perhaps are the most at danger. My name is Andrew Borman. I am the digital games curator here at the Strong National Museum of Play in Rochester, New York. You can follow me on Twitter at Borman18. You can follow the museum at the addresses below on their screen. Hopefully you're viewing them on Twitch and not on YouTube, or they may not be there. I'm sorry. Any of our employees, my fellow colleagues who have Twitter accounts, they're there listed for you, where you can hear all about the things in games or toys or whatever amazing surprises are going to happen. Until next time, thanks for watching.